Hello and welcome back to another episode of Rooks Craft Corner. Today I thought we would be doing something a little bit different than the last couple that we've done. And by last couple, I mean the popsicle stick house and the body scrub. Now, this is something I'm probably a little bit more familiar with. Today, we won't be using the crafting doily or the wood plank, the simple plank of wood. I know I said they'd be returning characters, and there they are. But we're not going to be using those today. Today, we're going to be doing something a little bit near and dear to my heart. We're going to be sharpening a kitchen knife, but not as a craft. We're not going to do that as the only thing. Special surprise later to come, but we will practice on a knife. Now, the prep work that I've done for this, I have prepared, I watched about 30 seconds of a video on Facebook on how to sharpen a knife. So we will start. I've got my base here with my little grippy grip. And then we've got our whetstone that I purchased off Amazon, and it comes with two different grits on it. One of them is 1,000 and the other is 6,000. And we're gonna start with the 1,000 first, it being the lower grit. It will be more coarse and be able to take more metal off first, and then the 6,000 will be the finishing side. What does the 6,000 and the 1,000 mean? Well, I have no idea, but that's inconsequential. We're gonna sharpen the knife. I have this knife. I got it before I went to college. It is very dull. If you can look at some of there are many dips and crevices in the blade. So it is in desperate need of sharpening, especially since it survived college. So we will do that first initially. Of course, we're gonna put on our old trusty gloves to prevent lacerations and possible pain, hopefully. But we'll start her off with that. Now, the video that I watched said you could take 2 pennies and put it on the sharpening stone like so, and that will help you, well, depending on the knife and the bevel. You put them there, and you get the correct bevel of the knife that away. But you know what they say, guesswork breeds trial and error, and failure breeds more failure, or if it turns out right, then it turns out right. Anyway, let's get to going. We're gonna start with the back side of the knife, so we're gonna push down with the 2 fingers on the blade. We're gonna pull back and release pressure, and we go up. So down and up, down and up, down and up. We're gonna work our way all the way down the blade, hopefully using the same bevel the entire time. Now, as you can see, already some of the metal shavings are coming off. That is what you want to see, and you don't want to wipe that off, because that will help more of the metal. Sorry, I'm really concentrating right now. I get into this kind of stuff, crafting and such. You want that metal to stay on there, because it will actually help sharpen the blade better. I know. Fun and interesting facts here on Rook's Craft Corner. Did you know that cats have 32 muscles in their ear? Look it up. They do. What do they use the muscles for? Listening to your conversations. Oh man, that is just a pleasant noise. I want to keep that consistent bevel. Another thing, it is a whetstone. Something that you do want to keep in mind with using a whetstone is that you should soak it in water for about 20 to 15 minutes. You said that backwards. Rook, but that's okay. I've sharpened knives before using a grind wheel, but I wanted to try my hand at like manual sharpening. Manual being a relative term. And I know this isn't really a craft, it's kind of a warm-up, because I'm, one, not an expert at this, two, have never done this properly before in my existence as a human, and three, very scared. Scared of what? I don't know yet. I suppose we'll find out as we go along this journey together, you and I. You gotta have some strong wrists for this, or else you're really gonna be in trouble. By not the key signature, you're gonna be in trouble, not treble. I will have the world's most muscular wrists after this, and probably that means I am doing something wrong. Your wrists probably should not be hurting if you're doing this. Well, what do you guys think? Is it getting there? We'll go, let's say, 3 more passes. One, 2. All right, that is that side done. Now the next side, we are going to be, so we went pulling down and away. Now we will flip it around and we will push with pressure, and then come towards with the sharper object every pass, hopefully. We will make it with no pressure. So, yeah, Bobby, make fucking sense. You press down when you push, and you let go when you pull towards. La-di-da-di-deo. Here we go. Starting at the tip. Boy, howdy, I am just the most literate SOB. Welcome to my new hell. Sounds like kind of a chalkboard, scraping it with a rusty spoon. Is this how one gains experience in these kind of things? I thought in Skyrim you just hit a button and it made it for you. Like, oh, yeah, now it's fine. Now it's sharp. Now it's cool. Now all the kids can use your daggers and you can craft armor from dragons that you stole bones from. What did you do last night, Bobby? I sat on the kitchen table and sharpened a knife that I got before college. Don't worry, I use my time wisely. I have a job that I need to go to and people who love and care about me. I am in a good place. No, I actually love this sort of thing. This sort of thing is really kind of my jam. I love cutlery. I don't know really what got me into it. If I were to say something, I would say my parents got me into cutlery. I remember when I was really young, I got my first knife, I think from either my uncle or my father. They owned a small business and they like made commemorative knives for their business. Not like anything grand or nice. It was just like these weird little flip knife things that they gave to like people. You know, it's like a little advertisement-y thing. It had nothing to do with their business. They could have given away pens instead, but instead they gave away knives, which is fine. I'm not judging, but I just, you know, looking back on it, I don't see that anymore. Little Tommy got a knife from McDonald's and PTA got involved. You know, whatever. I don't know. How's it going with that? But yeah, cutlery has been a big part of my life. If you've seen the other videos, then you've seen a couple of the other cool knives that I got. I got like that K-bar, that black K-bar that I used in the other episode, and then the first episode that I did, I believe had my Benchmade knife in it. I usually carry that one like daily. That one's my kind of go-to. It's very nice. It's easy to carry and just nice. So I made a lot of modifications, so by that I mean I sharpened the crap out of it. Well, what are y'all thinking? I'm thinking the blade looks more together than it did when I started. But I think I still have a little bit ways to go. If I'm looking at it, yeah, I'm definitely seeing a lot less of the horrible ridges and grooves I had when we started. So we had a lot of them if you paid attention and are watching with anything better than a potato for a computer. I'm sorry, did I insult someone's graphics card? Well, you don't have to worry because my graphics card is a potato. I insulted myself on the internet. Let it be known that I have no dignity or honor. One of the funny things is when I was growing up, my mom, she never really liked me owning cutlery at first, and my life has taken a, like, some parents like, oh, we're not gonna let little Johnny do this or that, or like, we want like Johnny's first plastic explosive to be this or that. But like my mom was like a little bit nervous with me being around guns and like swords and knives and like this and that. And like I remember the day that, well, I remember in my childhood, back when I first started liking knives, we would have days where like we would do crafts or something at home because it was summer and she needed to entertain a small child, where she would just go and we would buy soap and then we would just sit there and whittle soap away with like a pocket knife or something, like a Swiss Army knife, not like anything particular or cool. We sit there and we whittle it away, and then we put it all, soap and knife, all together in a place, and then I wasn't allowed to touch it without supervision. Not that I was like an irresponsible kid. I think I was a pretty responsible little munchkin running around. It's just my parents were a little protective of me for whatever reason, which is probably for the best. Anywho, I think that knife is looking pretty swell. Swell as a bell. Maybe even a death knell. Probably not that fine. But I think it looks a lot, if anything, the blade looks a lot more together than it did when we started. That's one knife. I was thinking about doing this knife too, but I kind of want to get into the crafting aspect of this video. Just take some water here. Add a couple more drops on it because it's like getting a little bit ooky. By ooky, in this case, means that it's getting a little bit dry, I think. I don't know. Just wipe off the blade there. Wipe it off there. We'll manage to cut some of the cloth off on it, so that's kind of cool. What people really look for is like, I think they call it a bevel. Yeah, because like if you were looking down here at the start of the video when I showed you the knife blade, it was all chunky. I mean, we definitely shaved off a lot of that chunkiness and replaced it with a decent blade. And I'm using the word decent very, very liberally. I am not claiming to be an expert at this. Like I said, this is the first time that I've like tried to do this properly, and it's been 17 minutes now. But we'll switch it over from here to there and everywhere. Pick it up, put it down, and we're doing it on this side. And the same principle is going to be the same principle. Don't patronize me. I'm going to be starting here. We are going to be a couple fingers, finding that bevel that we originally started with that I've probably screwed up over the course of this video. And go. But where I was going with that story earlier was it was an interesting experience, like working my mom into like getting more things at home, and I really have my dad to thank for that, because weaponry. Sorry, I kind of scoff at that because like I remember the day that was an evening. My dad got home from work, and my mom and I were in the kitchen. He comes in like, "Hey, Dad," and he's like, "Hi, kid." He didn't say that, but he was like, "Hey," and he was like, "I bought the boy a BB gun," and my mom was just so thrilled. She was so happy that I had access to a BB gun. I shot that thing so much, it was insane. So much fun. I remember I inherited another couple of BB guns from my grandfather. That was cool. Played outside in the summer with those all the time. It was glorious. But like I remember days when I couldn't buy, like I asked my mom if I could like buy a knife or something, and she'd be like, "No," and I'd be like, "Okay, like what are you gonna do? Fight your parents over, you know, you buying a knife?" No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna be that guy or that kid. I got better things to do, like eat dirt or whatever I did when I was a child. It was just like an interesting process, because little bit by little bit she got wore down. Because I remember there was a time where I could not even buy like wooden swords. Like we go to play like some place like medieval times, and they'd have those cool like wooden swords on the walls. Like, "Mommy, I want to buy a wooden sword with my Christmas bunny." And she'd be like, "Not till you're older, now eat your oats." And I would sit there and eat my oats with my finger in a plum pudding or whatever I had near me. But then, like, it got to a point when I was in high school where my mother and I were, like, taking shooting classes together. And, like, we had, like, a bunch of swords and knives in the house, as well as a bunch of weaponry. And now here I am, 24, and sharpening my knife at at a table for people on the internet. Full circle. Alright, I would say that's probably good enough to add a fine edge to this side. Switching it around, we'll go the other way. And by other way, I means we push with pressure, come back with no force. And we're gonna start. That processing power goes to me wondering how I'm going to infuse my popcorn with salt, vegetable oil, and cayenne pepper. If you have never tried that on popcorn, I would highly recommend it, because that is very good. So good. So good! If you get that reference, leave a comment down below. I feel like one of these crafting episodes I'm gonna end up like having to go to the hospital based on like the degree of crafts that I do. Extreme crafting! Cut myself on a knife that I was sharpening because I'm a moron. Anyway, I'm gonna call it there for this one. Just kind of wiggle it around in the goopy gunk that I've got. Wipe it off. Now here's my next step of professionalism. I'm gonna go and run and grab a piece of computer paper. You guys stay here. I'll be right back. Why is my house a mess? Ah, yes, it's because I live in it. Okay, now, got your standard issue printer paper here. Now, this is the knife that I didn't sharpen that I also got from college, and we'll see what kind of wonderful superpowers it has cutting this piece of paper. Alright, that was kind of terrible. Now let's see what this newly sharpened and honed knife that I just did can do, if anything. Well, I'm gonna be honest, it's a little bit better than I expected. And by a little bit, I mean, I guess I did something okay. That's not good. Well, I could be turning the knife, but that's a decent cut. I mean, it'll, what's the word on the Forged in Fire? It will cut. It'll even stab. Wow. Just like, what's something that stabs other things? Anyway, just pop that on there. Now to the crafting aspect of this video. Now, this craft will be a little bit interesting. I'm going to be a little bit Minecraft here, and we are going to craft this ruler into a kitchen knife with the whetstone. I know what you're thinking, don't leave. Hear me out. I've got a degree from college. I can do it maybe with enough time, elbow grease, and maybe some muscular wrist action. But yeah, no, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna try and make this ruler into a cooking utensil so that you can measure how you can see how long you slept, and if you need to slice some vegetables, you can use this as a cutting utensil. Really scraped the bottom of the barrel for crafts this week, aren't you, Rook? Okay, whatever. Get off your high horse. I want to see you try and craft some glory. Shut up and get to work. You've got a lot of metal to grind. I don't know how much of the knife I want to make the ruler. I'm thinking like I want to just grippy groove right about there. I am not going to put a point on this. It's just going to remain nice and flat. We'll pretend it's some kind of foreign or tactical advantage. Boy, get on your soapbox. Online, the word tactical is basically meaningless. People will put whatever they want online to try and make it seem like their thing that they're selling is worth something. I always look at the metal quality. If the metal quality ain't good, then I ain't gonna buy your product. And if it doesn't look useful, I ain't gonna buy your product. Something that gets me every single time is those tri-daggers. And I'm not talking about like daggers that you have to try hard. You would if you used one of these stupid monstrosities of metal and just dumb fuckery. They're the daggers that are like a swirl, and they have 3 blades on them, and it's just the dumbest thing in my opinion. That's not a knife. You want to try and cut something with one of those, it's not going to work. You want to know why? Because the blade spirals, and it's not meant for that. It's meant for stabbing. Because like it takes out half of the usefulness of a knife. You can stab or you can slice. But with that, you can just stab. And like knives were originally made for utility. Like it wasn't an invention made for combat originally, but if you're gonna freaking take out half of the usefulness of a knife, then you better be hauling around another thing to do the job that you're not having your one item do for you. You know what I mean? Like instead of a chop and a slice, it's just something that you can stab, and that's not very useful. Regular knives, you can just use that in any circumstance. Need to open a freaking crate with some tape on it? Why don't you use your regular old knife? Got something that you got a gallon of milk that you need punctured? Well, why don't you just grab a good old knife? You've got, I don't know. It just really rubs me the wrong way, and you can tell because I haven't stopped talking about it yet. And I don't feel like I'm doing my argument justice. But like, if you're gonna take out half the usefulness of a utensil, like, you're not gonna like reinvent the spoon just to like, yes, this spoon's more tactical because it's now got, holes in it. The holes will let out soup it will help strain vegetables better. Well, that's great. It does that one task good, but like, it won't let you eat like all of the soup if you want to eat some soup. It won't let you do part of that. Anyway, that's my spoon knife argument for the night. Anyone want to come and fight me on that, you're more than welcome to take your freaking tri-dagger and try and defend it. I would make sharpening it with a sharpening stone like almost impossible. It would make sharpening with a grind wheel hell as well. I don't know where you would place your fingers on that thing you wouldn't get cut. What a joke. Another thing that makes me bad about modern Instagram artists these days that try and like market weaponry, like, oh, which one would you choose in a zombie apocalypse? And it's like a freaking like rainbow colored crambit versus like a freaking dumb butterfly knife or balisong if you're from the Philippines. Oh, that was good on the ears. Let's start on this end. Anyway, that's my knife rant for the night. Oh, son of a... Quality jokes, that's what you come here for. Quality crafting content by yours truly. Look at me go. Well, it has been... Something's coming off of it. Well, it seems that I've made almost no progress. Good job. All right, I'm gonna like do a little jumpy cut thing here where I'll come back when I have more commentary in about 20 minutes out. Okay, talk to you later. Love you. All right, so I'm back, you tippity top Fortnite gamers. I have made progress. Unsure if you can tell, but definitely that ridge wasn't there before. That's what it looked like when it started. That's where it is now. It's still not sharp, but it is like 10 p.m. and I'm gonna go to bed. It's getting there. I did about 50 reps per like 2.5 inches, and on both sides, and it has gotten me visible. It has gotten me visible progress. So if I keep at this pace, maybe I'll get it done by Thanksgiving. That being said, I will plan on devoting about an hour and a half more to this. As you can tell with the knife, it would be so much easier because it does taper down from a wide edge to a thin edge. So the metal's already thin, and you just have to let the grindstone just kind of shape it up so you can get that nice sharpness that they come standard with. However, this is just a chunk of metal of all the same girth, and it's just, you can't really, you just gotta muscle it through, and that's fine. There's some really cool people that are good at muscling through things. I will become one of them after this experience. Anyway, talk to you later. Toodles! Oh, hello there, you beautiful people. What have you been doing over there for so long? Yeah, so it's the next day because I got tired and then another day passed and now it's 2 days later. And really, this whole process has been a trial by fire. And by fire, I mean, I had no idea what I'm doing when I started those many hours ago. But now I know a little bit better. I've been using the sharpening block for a while now. It's 3:42 in the afternoon. Excuse me. Ugh. A little burpy. And I made progress. I made some progress. Look at that sweet nasty prog we got there. Boom, boom. Actual comparisons going on. Right in the limelight. Anyway, what I wanted to update you guys on is that I'm gonna for a little bit be switching over to the Sterling sharpener here. This is a sharpener that I've used for quite a few years and I've been very pleased with its work. I've used a grindstone before. I've used obviously a whetstone now. And I've used a pair of gloves until I figured out it was making these weird little beads on the sharpening stone, which caused, jumping to occur when I was using the whetstone. But I'm going to use this, and basically what it is, it's a little metal V, and it scrapes off metal and to form a good knife angle, just like nature intended. But I'm going to use this for a little bit and be back with some more sick, nasty prog. Alright, I have returned. I used the what is this called? The Sterling sharpener here for a little bit, and it put maybe, I don't know if you would call it an even, kind of evened it out a little bit maybe. It took some metal off. There are metal shavings over here if you can kind of see them. And that's good, and that's kind of all I wanted. I didn't want to like finish it with this or anything like that. I figured I started off with the sharpening stone. I'm going to finish with it, but I guess I wanted more of a guideline on what the hell to do with this, because this is my first time ever doing that. I guess that's the joke. But anyway, we're just gonna get right back into it. I figure I'll record a little bit more content, and then future Bobby, with his empty stomach and his tired brain, will edit this all into something fun in probably about 6 hours? No, that's too few. We'll go with 11 hours. It's 4:03 now. Where was I going with that? Yes, I'm going to be up late tonight, possibly Tal as well, doing editing. I don't know, I might fiddle around with the enhanced speed function of my video editing software. Haven't done that before, but man, would it make this easier to stomach for everyone else involved, because I'm a little bit over this. Juicy. Or whatever the catchphrase is for my show. Almost musical, the way the sharpening sounds on the stone. Coming out next week or 2 weeks from now in the next Rooks Craft Corner, we're going to craft the song Sandstorm from my sharpening stone. Anyway, that's a lot of, thinking about it, that's a lot of something to take off of one thing. And I hope I'm not just taking off layers of my sharpening stone, because that would make me a little bit upsetty spaghetti. But moving back to the point of this, I don't think it is. It'd really suck if it was, because that would kind of boil my potato, or whatever expression I want to use today. Quick jump cut to some more interesting conversation, future Bobby. What about the droid attack on the Wookiees? Y'all like Star Wars? I really like Star Wars, and I've really gotten into a lot of fan theories recently. A lot of fan theories. Sound like those Harry Potter theories where the creator comes out and says all these nonsensical things, like Ron Weasley actually had a third eye growing on the back of his neck. I mean, if people don't want to stick around for the lovely noise that the ruler makes as I'm sharpening it, they can stick around for my horrible commentary and my one glove. Okay. As the Grenier would say. Progress, making progress. So every once in a while, I'm like taking it over to this dish of water that I have sitting next to me. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of taking the whetstone, dipping it in there, wiping it off with my unprotected hand, really getting all of that metal sludge in between all of the cuts on my hand, making sure it's nice and moist when I go to sharpen the ruler. Get back to work, Bobby. You shrimp dick fuck nugget, get back to work. Progress. And we all lift. Yeah, as you see, also, I'm not using the whole 3 penny trick. I found out, well, the guy in the video that I watched initially for 10 minutes stated that it would be easier if you just kind of use your fingers to feel when the blade meets the bevel that you're looking for, and then you just go from there. We get a keen eye on the action going on that is my life. Maybe I could use this ruler to make some food after it's sharpened. Would you guys watch a Rooks Craft Corner where I make food measured out in specific quantities with this knife ruler? We're gonna rotate. There we go. I do that just to make sure that maybe some of the different parts of the knife, the sharpening stone that I didn't use, are used. It's good to kind of keep that rotated because in my infinite, omnipotent wisdom, I have not purchased the item that one uses to level a sharpening stone. And if one does not do that, then after use, your sharpening stones will have dips, crevasses in them, and might not be the ideal modem to get your blades sharpity sharp, as one might call them. Oh my God. Oh my spanky stars and stripes. Batman, we have an edge An edge up on the world? No, an edge on this ruler that I bought from Hobby Lobby. Now, it's not good. So we'll go one more pass, and then we'll go to honing. Oh my god. Oh, it's been like 15 hours. It's literally been a couple hours invested into this. This has definitely been the most time-consuming craft, and you can tell I'm actually excited. I'm not just putting on a farce like some YouTubers out there. I'm looking at you. Insert YouTuber name here. But as I'm looking at this, oh my god, there's actually a little bit of an edge there. But I've actually been very surprised on how easy this is to pick up and do. It feels very natural. It feels very natchy. Which is just, I don't know why that's odd to me. All right, we're gonna call that the start. Put up put up some wacky letters that say the start, chapter 1. Bobby eats a bagel and tries to sharpen a knife. Secret behind the scenes with Rook, there was no bagel, and there never has been. I haven't eaten a bagel in probably, a couple years. So we're moving over from the 1,000 to the 6,000 grain, which means that, yes. So moving on, we're gonna do the same thing, except this will help hone the edge rather than make it. So the 1,000 grit was a little bit, it was less for, well, I mean, it wasn't for making the blade, but it's more for keeping what you got going. You know, I think I was a little preemptive on my my assumption that the blade was getting there. I mean, it is, but it isn't. Is it? God, it's so tiny. All right. One down. Comment below if you saw what number I stopped at. Right now, pause the video. Comment down below what centimeter, what inch I stopped at. If you saw it while I turned it, I realized that was a stupid thing to say. Spoilers. Oh, I guess the answer, the daily double, it's about 6 inches. So if you guess 6 inches, brag to your friends. And we're gonna call it. As a sharpened blade, there will be a part 2 to me with this. But first, as I'm sure you're all wanting to see, there's always a mythical part. Point Rook. We are going to do that ridiculous paper cutting thing that people do when they're sharpening objects to prove their sharpness. Excuse me as I waddle into the other room to collect a piece of printer paper. Oh, I'm sure the audio is just lovely right now. Fuck me. All right. So, as you remember, here is our paper sun. If you remember, this is the knife I originally sharpened at the beginning. It is my college piece of, it was like a $12 knife, I think. Ooh, Sharpie. This is my K-bar knife that I bought when I was I don't know, 14 from a shop, and I sharpened it using the whetstones today. Sharp. And this is a ruler that I bought at the Hobby Lobby for like $9. We'll go to this side, and the moment of truth. I guess truth. Woo! Woo! Oh, look at it go. Cutting through it like a piece of paper. Failure! You are a failure, Rook. Woo! It broke. Well, my ruler managed to break a piece of paper. I don't know. It might not be the best at that. Oh, that's some good juicy noise. I might not be the best at sharpening it, but the other two knives kind of lend themselves to me being okay at it. And the story about this ruler is that it's not a good knife. Maybe, probably. I don't know. It doesn't feel sharp, but it almost like looks. It looks like it could be sharp. I must have just put on a very, very blunt edge to it. And I mean, that could very well be the case, but I am tired and disappointed at this. So we're gonna move on to the last step of the video, which will be a lovely surprise for everyone and to me, because we will watch me struggle to put a hilt on the bottom of it with this paracord that I found. Yeah! Whoa! Where's my round of applause? It's from 12 to 18 will be where the paracord, and I've never, ever wrapped anything in paracord or made a hilt on anything. So this will be fun. It'll be a fun little giggle session to watch Rook fail. As if his first failure wasn't enough, now he will have a second for his mother to watch. How does one wrap a knife? Well, frisky, it's looking fine. Making it more grabbable and doable to hold and to... I hope I'm putting in a lot of jump cuts. And I'm sorry I say so much. It's a safe word. It's my safe word. It's what I use when I want to feel like I... there it is again. Put up the counter. God, I am giving myself a lot of work in this video. I don't think that's gonna work. Time for round 2, multi-level layering. And I don't know what that means yet, but we're gonna figure it out together. We are gonna go in a different direction than the multi-level layering, since I've just now already deemed it a failure. Failure, just like nature intended. All right, so multi-level layering was a bust. We're going to make a knot. You're going to become knotty. Put some just standard knots right there. Make sure it can't go through. Get that nice and tight there. We're going to proceed to up under, around, over. All right, now the interesting part is that I don't know how to finish this. I want to keep that nice and tight. Hold that there. Oh. Go every 2 down, maybe. Sure. 2, and that's the problem when you use paracord. It like gets uppity at the end. I'm gonna shove this. I'm gonna fail at shoving that in there. Tighten it. And then shove it in there again with the aid of a precision tool I like to call my persistence and video game thumb strength. Ew. Jolly good show. Oh, and we're gonna yank it. We're gonna yank, and yank, and yank. Ha! Ha! I've done it all by myself, and you guys watched. Yeah. So anyway, I've made this sad thing on YouTube. It's not a functional knife. It's hardly gonna be a functional ruler. But it actually feels a lot better than holding steel in your hand, so whatever that's worth. I freaking did it! This has been Rook's Craft Corner. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe because I really do like making the videos that we make. It's very fun. I personally get a lot of enjoyment just out of like doing these fun little crafts. You know, crafting is something, when I saw my first crafting video, I'm not good at. I don't claim to be. I'm sure you come here to watch how silly and messed up I will make the video, because inevitably I will make it silly and ridiculous, and then you end up something like this, a kitchen knife ruler with a terrible looking handle. But hopefully you'd have gotten a couple smiles out of it and maybe had some new thoughts about my sanity level.